Overstay consequences. Can it block your citizenship? N-400 interview practice, Part 2. Andrea and David remain seated in the same quiet USCIS interview room. Andrea has reviewed David's earlier answers from Part 1 about the dates and reasons for his overstay and now continues with more detailed questions focused on consequences and responsibility.
David, based on what you explained in Part 1, you realized after the fact that you had overstayed by a little over 2 months. My main question for this segment is, what immigration consequences did you understand could result from that overstay?
At the time, once I learned what an overstay was, I understood that it could cause serious problems. I learned that even a short overstay could affect future visa applications and could make it harder to return to the United States. I was especially worried that it might prevent me from coming back legally.
That's correct. As a follow-up, did you understand that the length of an overstay can change the level of consequences?
Yes, officer. The attorney explained that longer overstays can trigger re-entry bars, like 3-year or 10-year bans. In my case, since it was a little over 2 months, I was told it was less severe, but still a violation that would stay on my record.
Good. Another follow-up. Did you understand at that time that even an unintentional overstay is still considered a violation?
Yes, I learned that intention doesn't cancel responsibility. Even though I didn't mean to overstay, the law still considers it a violation. That was difficult to accept, but I understood it was my duty to know the rules.
That understanding is important. One more clarification. Did you believe at any point that ignoring the issue would make it go away?
No, officer. Once I realized the problem, I knew ignoring it would only make it worse. That's why I looked for legal advice and eventually left the U.S. voluntarily.
Thank you. This shows awareness of consequences, which is a key part of evaluating responsibility. We'll now move on to how this overstay affected your later immigration decisions. Let's continue. My main question for this segment is, how did your overstay affect your future immigration plans and decisions?
The overstay made me much more cautious. After I left the U.S., I didn't try to return right away. I wanted to be sure I followed the law properly. I understood that applying again without addressing the overstay could lead to denial.
That's a careful approach. As a follow-up, did you disclose the overstay on later visa or immigration applications?
Yes, officer. Every time I filled out a form that asked about previous overstays, I answered honestly. I listed the dates and explained that I left voluntarily after learning about the issue.
Honesty is very important. Another follow-up. Were you ever denied a visa or entry because of the overstay?
I was questioned more closely during a later visa application. The officer asked for details and documents. It took longer, but I was not denied. I believe being honest and prepared helped.
That is often the case. One more follow-up. Did this experience change how you prepare immigration applications now?
Yes, very much. I read every question carefully, keep copies of all past records, and never rush through forms. I also ask for professional advice if something is unclear.
Good. This shows learning and growth. Next, I want to focus on whether you took responsibility for the overstay rather than blaming others. Now, I'd like to focus on accountability. My main question for this segment is, do you accept personal responsibility for your overstay?
Yes, officer, I do. Even though I received incorrect advice from friends and misunderstood the rules, I know that the responsibility was mine. I should have checked official sources earlier.
Thank you for saying that clearly. As a follow-up, did you ever try to blame someone else or avoid responsibility at any point?
No, I was frustrated at first, but I didn't blame anyone else. I understood that immigration law is serious, and I should have taken more initiative to understand it.
That attitude matters. Another follow-up. How do you think accepting responsibility affects your naturalization application?
I believe it shows good moral character. Everyone can make mistakes, but what matters is admitting them, correcting them, and learning from them. I think USCIS wants to see honesty and responsibility, not perfection.
That's correct. One more clarification. Have you had any other status violations since that overstay?
No, officer. Since then, I have always maintained lawful status and followed all immigration rules carefully.
Very good. In the next segment, we'll talk about how this past overstay fits into your overall eligibility for naturalization. For this final segment of Part 2, my main question is, why do you believe this past overstay should not prevent you from becoming a U.S. citizen today?
Because it was a single, short overstay that happened many years ago, and I handled it responsibly once I understood it. I left the U.S. voluntarily, disclosed it honestly later, and have followed all laws since then. I believe my overall record shows good moral character.
As a follow-up, how does your behavior since that time support your application?
Since then, I've obeyed all immigration rules, kept accurate records, and been honest on every application. I've learned from the mistake and made sure it never happened again.
One more follow-up. What would you say to someone who is tempted to hide an overstay during the naturalization process?
I would tell them not to do it. USCIS has records, and hiding information can cause much bigger problems than the overstay itself. Honesty is always the best choice.
Thank you, David. Your answers show reflection and responsibility. This concludes Part 2. In Part 3, we will finish this topic with final clarifications and a summary of how overstays are evaluated during naturalization. Vocabulary note: consequences, results that happen because of an action. Re-entry bar, a period when someone is not allowed to return to the U.S. Violation, breaking a law or rule. Responsibility, duty to follow rules and laws. Disclose, to share information openly. Denied, officially refused. Prepared, ready and organized. Professional advice. Guidance from a qualified expert. Accept responsibility. Admit that something is your duty or fault. Accountability. Being responsible for actions. Initiative. Taking action without being told. Eligibility. being legally qualified, prevent, stop something from happening, overall record, total history of actions, disclose honestly, share truthfully, reflection, careful thinking about past actions.